San Antonio police say they've caught a driver involved in a deadly hit-and-run crash. What we've learned overnight in the case. And checking TransGuide, wet roads is going to lead to a messy morning commute. An update straight ahead. To some late-breaking news, water woes have been adding to a tough job for San Antonio firefighters.
They've been working for about an hour to put out a fire in a vacant house. Katrina
Weber is live near the corner of Wyoming and South Palmetto. We understand fire crews have been working with a limited water supply, Katrina.
Well, that's right. They confirmed to me that they had some very low water pressure coming out of those hydrants, which made it difficult for them to put as much water on this house as they wanted or actually needed. This is the house behind me. It looks like they finally got the upper hand on this fire. They had their aerial ladder truck, as you can see there, pouring water down from above. But it did take a good while, the better part of an hour, for them to knock down those flames. Let me give you a look at the video so you can see what I'm talking about. Those flames were shooting in every direction when we got here a little bit after 5 o'clock this morning. Firefighters were scrambling to try to put out that fire. At no point did they say that this house threatened any others nearby, because the closest house is several feet away, so no problems there. And as far as we know, no one was inside. They described this as a vacant or abandoned house. Firefighters now just got their first chance to go inside. They were fighting it from the outside. There were burglar bars on the windows and doors. We saw them cut those off, and now out here live, they're actually going in to have a look around. Investigators as well going in to try to figure out how this might have started. I can just tell you, usually with these abandoned homes, these fires don't start themselves, but we don't know the situation here, whether anyone was inside who shouldn't have been. Haven't had a chance to get that information just yet from firefighters, but we are working to get more information from them. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Okay, Katrina, thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Just after 6 a.m. on your Monday, January 8th.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you had a good weekend. The weather was nice, especially in the afternoons, and now we're going to deal with a lot of changes.
Yeah, a whole bunch going on in the forecast.
Yeah, we had a great weekend. It was really nice yesterday, chilly in the morning, beautiful to be outside. Hopefully, as we were talking about, take down your Christmas decorations and tie down anything that can be blown around, because that's definitely going to be the case later on this afternoon with that big front moving on through here. It is a wet start this morning. You can see some of the cars out there on 410 are kicking up a little bit of a rooster tail. We've had a lot of light rain around the area right now. And again, it is just basically on the light side. A couple of perhaps a little heavier showers here and there up there in the northern edge of Bexar County. Everything's sort of drifting off to the northeast. Don't be surprised if there are a couple of lightning strikes later on this morning, especially off to the northeast. That's where the threat for some strong to potentially severe storms are, but that's well just on the extreme northeast fringes of our area. Wind is going to be the big issue later on today. We are starting off very mild. There's no report coming out of San Antonio as of right now, nor Stinson, but you can pretty much guess that we're in the upper 50s, low 60s right now, which is common around the area. Now, wind, it's still breezy this morning. Wind coming out of the southeast, however, pumping in all that humidity. So 10, close to 15 mile per hour winds. We do have a couple of gusts out there in Lost Maples, and we do have a lot of mountain cedar. It's going to be interesting to see what tomorrow's reading is and what Wednesday morning's reading is, because of those winds that will be coming out of the northwest. Now, we have wind advisories going to affect at noon up through noon tomorrow, and then also red flag warnings for the southwestern, pretty much half of our viewing area. Very high fire danger. This is in effect up until 9 o'clock tonight. I would suspect that's going to be extended. Temperatures are going to be holding steady this morning. We will have showers around throughout the rest of the morning. Noon, 67 degrees, so already well above normal at noon. We're going to top off at 70, and then the front moves through and temperatures will drop at least 10 degrees, even colder than that in portions of the hill country by dinner time, and very, very windy. And it's going to stay windy overnight, and like I said, tomorrow and then tomorrow morning at this time, we're going to be dealing with some pretty cold wind chills. Details on that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, RJ, already had problems out there. Is that still the case?
Yeah, Mike, and got a little bit of a developing situation here on the far west side, looking at US 90 and Loop 410. So we're being told that these are the eastbound lanes of US 90 at the Loop 410 ramp. Obviously, we have a car facing the opposite direction. We have other traffic coming in this direction here. Again, 90 eastbound at Loop 410, a bit of a dangerous and kind of tricky situation. So they just popped up on TransGuide a little while ago, and we'll continue trying to get more information on this. But if you're headed out in this direction, keep this in mind. 90 eastbound at Loop 410 North. That's one of the ramps to get onto 410 North. So something we'll continue to monitor as we make our way through the rest of our morning. We're looking at a stalled vehicle here eastbound of I-10 at Martin Luther King Drive, not causing any major traffic delays at the moment. So that's good news there for our drivers on the east side. Again, eastbound I-10 MLK Drive, something to keep in mind if you are headed out. One quick look at gas prices, obviously starting with Monday here. We do always want to check our gas prices, see what we're looking at to start the week. We have $2.58 across the San Antonio area, a little bit lower than the average gas price across the state at $2.66, and we are significantly lower than the average gas price in the U.S. So that's good news if you're headed out. Might be a good time to head out, especially with this wind and kind of rain and stuff. It might be a good time to fill up for the rest of your week. But again, we'll continue to follow this right here, US 90 eastbound at Loop 410, developing situation out there. Mark and Stephanie.
RJ, thank you. Happening today, Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas will be down in Eagle Pass, taking a first-hand look at border enforcement efforts.
Last month, he visited with Border Patrol in Uvalde, and our Daniela Ibarra is in Eagle Pass and tells us what local business owners and leaders hope will come from this visit.
People who live and work here in Eagle Pass say the recent surges of migrants that have filled that field behind me have drained resources and hurt the economy. They hope Secretary Mayorkas' visit today will help bring relief. It's Eagle Pass's lifeline. Business from across the border helps these stores on Main Street survive. Angel Gonzalez, whose clients are mainly from Mexico, says his sales dropped. He blames a weeks-long bridge closure for the dip in profit. Border Patrol had to shift resources to process the waves of migrants spilling into Eagle Pass. Angel says he does feel bad for the migrants. They're men, women, and kids who spend months traveling through tough conditions. Angel says he understands they want a better life. It's why he can't believe he now says it's time to shut down the border. Angel and the president of Eagle Pass's Chamber of Commerce says the government hasn't done anything to help.
There's always a solution to every problem. What it is, I'm not there to make those decisions, but something has to give. We need help from the federal government.
Eagle Pass Mayor Rolando Salinas says he's been pleading with the feds to listen.
The high people, they need to see what's going on, and they need to hear from us, and they need to give this importance.
More than 60 House Republicans visited the border town to see the crisis for themselves. Now, Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas will follow suit, learning about border enforcement efforts.
I'm grateful that he is coming. The invitation is open to everybody.
Salinas says Mayorkas called to give him the heads up about the bridge reopening. That's why Angel opened up his store on Sunday, hoping the low wait times to cross will bring in more customers from Mexico.
Frustrante, desesperado.
He and many other businesses are frustrated and desperate. He hopes Mayorkas will understand when he gets here and do something about it. Many of the people who live here say they wish this visit would have happened weeks ago when the surge of migrants was at its worst, when this field was filled with thousands of migrants waiting to be processed by Border Patrol. For GMSA, I'm Daniela Ibarra.
New this morning, San Antonio fire crews investigating a blaze that tore through an empty nursing home late last night. It happened around 10 p.m. in the 100 block of Cloud Haven Drive near Austin Highway on the city's northeast side. Crews on the scene found heavy flames of smoke on the back side of the building. The fire burned through the back rooms, attic, and roof. Firefighters say no one was in the building and no injuries were reported. The building is considered a total loss.
In your morning headlines, congressional leaders have agreed on a budget deal to fund the government this year and avoid a shutdown later this month. The deal between House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer included $886 billion in defense spending and $704 billion in other spending. Despite the agreement, two funding deadlines are quickly approaching, January 19th and February 2nd. If the deal isn't approved, the government could still shut down.
Well, this morning, millions of people around the country are digging out as another storm system dumps snow from coast to coast. The Northeast got slammed over the weekend with high winds creating hazardous conditions on major highways. A second storm in the west is expected to hit much of the country this week. And in the south, large hail, even a chance of tornadoes could hit late tonight and into Tuesday from Houston all the way over to Florida.
And overnight, a historic moon mission is underway, taking off from a launching pad in Florida. Some 50 years after the first American mission to the moon, a new rocket is on its own giant leap for mankind. Now, if all goes according to plan, a small lunar lander will touch down on the moon on February 23rd.
Back down here on Earth, a critical discovery in the investigation of that scary incident on an Alaska Airlines flight you can see right behind us.
The plane's so-called door plug, which fell off last Friday after takeoff from Portland, Oregon, has been located.
As ABC's Allison Cossack reports, the search for answers is just getting started.
I'm excited to announce that we found the door plug.
The National Transportation Safety Board announcing a school teacher in Portland, Oregon, found the door plug of the Alaska airplane in his backyard.
We're going to go pick that up and make sure that we begin analyzing it.
Investigators had been looking for the plug, even asking the public for help after the part blew off the Boeing 737 MAX 9 in midair on Friday, leaving a gaping hole in the fuselage, forcing an emergency landing. Investigators believe it holds clues of what caused the accident.
We are emergency. We are depressurized. We do need to return back to. We have 177 passengers.
Investigators say the door plug depressurized just after the plane took off, with more than 100 passengers and crew on board.
It was described as chaos, and it was very violent when the rapid decompression in the door was expelled out of the plane.
Also recovered 2 passengers' cell phones that fell out of the plane.
I found a phone sitting on the side of the road that had apparently fallen 16,000 feet. So I opened it up, and it was in airplane mode with a travel confirmation and baggage claim for Alaska 1282.
NTSB Chair Jennifer Homendy says investigators are documenting the damage, including the door plug frame, before sending parts to a lab. The NTSB also addressing concerns of 3 previous pressurization alerts in the plane in the months before the accident. Alaska Airlines had restricted the plane from flying long distance over water. Investigators were able to find the cockpit voice recorder from the plane, but the device was recorded over, leaving them with none of the data to use in their investigation. The FAA has temporarily grounded certain Boeing 737 MAX 9 aircraft, affecting about 171 planes worldwide. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Now 12 minutes past the hour, 62 degrees.
Still to come, we are 1 week into the new year, and millions of people are working on those New Year's resolutions. We're going to look at the most popular ones so far.
After the break, it's time for the College Football National Championship tonight in Houston. What you need to know before kickoff between Mike's Michigan Wolverines and the Washington Huskies.
And you can hear Mike coming along there. Let's go ahead and look out there with live cam. It's not cold today, not right now, not the morning hours. We're in the 60s. It is rainy and wet, and things are going to change a lot over the next couple of days. We'll be checking in with Mike very soon.
Welcome back. Our San Antonio Spurs on the road this week with their first stop in Cleveland to take on the Cavs on Sunday. Devin Vassell got things going early off the glass for 2 of his 22. Cavs climb back. It's Jared Allen with a putback dunk. He had a game-high 29. This one would come down to the final seconds. Wemby gets a layup to fall to make it a 2-point game, so the Spurs need a defensive stop. Wemby gets the block, and Trey Jones rebounds it out to Jeremy Sohan for the win, but it's wide right. Cavs win 117-115, handing the Spurs their 5th straight loss. So Spurs will stay on the road for their matchup against Detroit. It's a 6 o'clock tip Wednesday night between the NBA's 2 worst teams. Then the Spurs are back home hosting the Hornets for a 7 p.m. start. Friday night, we have pregame starting at 6:30 right here on KSAT 12. Then Saturday night, the Chicago Bulls are in town. Looking ahead to tonight is the College Football National Championship game between Mike Osterhage's Michigan Wolverines and the Washington Huskies. You're a fantastic whistler, by the way, Mike. The Huskies beat the Texas Longhorns in the Sugar Bowl, and the Wolverines beat Alabama in OT to win the Rose Bowl. Kickoff set for 6:30 p.m. from NRG Stadium in Houston, and we'll have all the highlights after the game on the night beat. You know, I didn't remember how their fight song went. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
You're most welcome.
All
Keep
you
that
have
up the
to
rest
do
of the
is
morning if you
ask.
like. Notice how I ended it right as you were ending that read. So
Wonderful timing.
Perfectly.
Yes.
And
Perfect.
and he's got Michigan colors going this morning.
Trying to.
Yeah. So
Very well.
6:17, 62 degrees.
Hi, RJ.
Yeah, I wonder who you got in that one, Mike. Not hard to figure out. Okay, taking a look at this developing situation we've had here on the west side here. US 90 at Meadow Creek. That's what we're looking at right now. So this is US 90 eastbound and the exit ramp here to 410. So you see on the far out there in the horizon a little bit, we have some of those flashing lights. I'll give you a little bit of an idea of what we saw earlier. So TransGuide, just talked to them right now. They believe that a car potentially spun out as they headed up to the exit ramp there on Loop 410 northbound, again, coming off of 90. So let's see what this looks like a little bit closer. And let's see if we can find that camera there. There it is. So we've had emergency vehicles out there. You can see this car is facing in the opposite direction. Again, traffic is slowly moving through there, 90 eastbound up to Loop 410 north. So this is something that we've been kind of following over the past 15 minutes or so. Traffic is getting through there, but you could see the left-hand lane there is closed right now at the moment as crews kind of figure out what to do there with that emergency vehicle. Rest of the city, things looking okay for the most part, despite some of the weather that we've seen. We do have a stalled vehicle being reported on the eastbound lanes. Let me see if we get up here. Yeah, eastbound lanes at Martin Luther King Drive, not causing any major delays at the moment there on the east side. But again, this is the biggest thing we're following, 90 eastbound at Loop 410 north, that exit ramp there. And again, guys, one of these situations where kind of car maybe spun out in this area, kind of tricky areas throughout the city.
Everybody's slowing down. That's nice. Mike, even your cufflinks are Michigan themed?
A couple of years ago, my in-laws got me some cufflinks. These are made from, I guess, the old wooden seats,
Nice.
wooden benches
That's
there in
super
the stadium.
cool.
So, yeah, and then trying to do, the maize and blue as close as possible. But who you picking, RJ?
Ooh, I got to go Michigan, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm just saying. Yeah,
We stand with you.
I was reading some stats, and in a lot of the categories, they're pretty close. I don't thank you for the close-up on this one. But,
You want to show your cufflinks?
But the other, well, I mean, they're square wooden cufflinks right there. But the Michigan scoring defense, #1 in the nation.
Okay.
Most
it's going to be a
fewest-
contrast in styles.
fewest-
Washington is
yeah.
a very high-scoring team.
Right.
Should be a fun
Yeah.
one.
And then, I mean, because you look at that line, I mean, they had 7 sacks against Alabama. However, do get to weather? I want to talk about it anyway. All right.
Just
we'll get to
shortly.
weather. So, the Lions, too? You talking about the Lions? Can I talk about them, too?
We're pulling for you, Mike.
Yes.
We're pulling for you tonight.
Anyway, all right, let's get to the weather. Right? Oh, wait, I want to make the school bus roll. See, I'm getting all
Yeah.
confused. You get excited about this. Grab a jacket this morning. We do have some showers around the area. Mid-50s and even low 60s, so very, very warm, way above normal. Even a thunderstorm or two well up to the north and to the northeast. I don't think we see any here around here. And then 70. Now, this is right after school, say 3 o'clock. Wind is going to be picking up out of the northwest and then get even stronger later on tonight, and temperatures will drop down. So again, this is going to be right at 3 o'clock in the afternoon that we hit 70, and then we will continue to see temperatures drop as those strong
Well, Mike, we're out of time.
northwesterly winds. I know. So anyway, here's what it looks like out there by the airport, and it is definitely wet. You can see we've got these just kind of light showers around the area, maybe even a couple of more that are starting to pick up in not only intensity a little bit, but also could actually see him. Nothing's being picked up on radar right now, but could actually see a lightning strike over here at Gonzales, heading up toward LaGrange. And then notice how there are a few decent cells right there on the northern edge of Bexar County, heading in toward New Braunfels. No lightning strikes yet, but again, don't be surprised if you see one. This will be sticking around this morning and then continuing to work its way on out of here and finally get pushed on out once that front comes on through. There is that severe threat well off to the east and to the northeast. The line for the isolated is just to the east of Blanco, San Marcos, right, including Gonzales and Victoria, but the majority of that will be further off to the east and to the northeast. Again, a stronger storm is possible. more likely well off to the east of our area. Wind gusts, that's going to be the big story later on today. In behind that front, 30, 40, close to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. That's going to be the situation overnight as well as into tomorrow morning with those stronger winds. And it's going to stay windy throughout most of the day. Now let's jump ahead to next week. We are looking at a very cold, there's some brutally cold air up there in northern Canada. That wants to work its way down in our direction. So as it looks right now, next week, we are going to be looking at probably the coldest batch of air of the season. It'd be a brief, very hard freeze to start off next week. Obviously, we're going to keep monitoring that. In the meantime, though, we are going to be seeing temperatures today. We hit 70 at noon. And then temperatures will, in early afternoon, and then temperatures will be dropping down throughout the day. Windy conditions down to 37 tomorrow morning. Wind chills are definitely going to be a factor. Tomorrow morning, bundle up, 60 for a high. Freezing Wednesday. We get milder Thursday. The next front comes through here on Friday. That'll cool us down for the weekend. And then the next front, starting off Monday, very cold air. Right now, and again, still a week away, but we're looking at low temperatures in the 20s. Here in town. Not an extended freeze, but still just those couple of days where it's going to be really, really cold.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Just start after school.
623, 62 degrees.
Go blue.
Yes, go blue. We'll be right back.
Kate made progress with her mental health, but her medication caused unintentional movements in her face, hands, and feet called tardive dyskinesia, or TD. So her doctor prescribed Austedo XR, a once-daily TD treatment for adults. Austedo XR significantly reduced Kate's TD movements. Some people saw a response as early as 2 weeks. With Austedo XR, Kate can stay on her mental health meds.
Oh, hi, buddy.
Austedo XR can cause depression, suicidal thoughts, or actions in patients with Huntington's disease. Pay close attention to and call your doctor if you become depressed, have sudden changes in mood, or have suicidal thoughts. Don't take if you have liver problems, are taking reserpine, tetrabenazine, or valbenazine. Austedo XR may cause irregular or fast heartbeat or abnormal movements. Seek help for fever, stiff muscles, problems thinking, or sweating. Common side effects include inflammation of the nose and throat, insomnia, and sleepiness.
Ask your doctor for Austedo XR.
Hi, welcome back. The time now is 6:26, and we are officially 1 week into the new year, and many of you are asking Google to help keep your New Year's resolutions going strong. So what are people trying to accomplish? Well, according to experts at Google, the top New Year's resolution trends right now are health, saving money, travel, and sustainability.
You look at aggregate anonymized data across searches worldwide and in the United States, so we can see what's top of mind for folks, that percent increase of searches year over year.
And Google Trend experts recommend creating a plan and sticking to it to help you stay on top of your resolution.
627, 62 degrees.
Let's look back out there with TransGuide. Again, looking at the problems over there at Highway 90 at Loop 410, that vehicle that kind of like turned around there. You can see help is there, and the other traffic moving slowly to accommodate. We're going to get a check-in with RJ very soon.
This morning, an abandoned house was anything but empty. It held a lot of smoke and flames, an especially difficult job for San Antonio firefighters.
Trina Weber is live near the corner of Wyoming and South Palmetto Streets, where fire crews are still wrapping up their work.
Katrina, was anyone hurt?
No, we just spoke with a battalion chief here, and he says that they got to look inside, didn't find anyone inside, and no firefighters hurt. But they do believe someone had been inside, and in fact, they're looking at that as being the person who possibly started this fire, maybe trying to keep warm in what should have been a vacant house. It created quite the situation here. I'm going to show you the video so you can see those flames that were shooting out of this house when we got here a little bit after 5 o'clock this morning. Now, we heard police talking about this fire initially, so it seems that an officer was passing by, noticed the fire, and called it in. Fire crews got here very quickly, but they say their hands were tied at one point because they had trouble getting water onto this fire. They tapped into some of the hydrants here and found out that the water pressure was especially low, so they had to count on water that they had already on their trucks, and then the ladder truck that they had extended there also was able to get some water out of the hydrant and pour it on the fire. It did take a long time, the better part of an hour, to knock down those flames. But again, doesn't look like anyone was inside at the time of the fire, and so no injuries to firefighters and no damage to any homes in this area other than this one. Reporting live on the east side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
All right. Thank you, Katrina. And good morning. 6:30. We are at Monday, January 8th.
Thanks for starting your morning with us. You're going to keep a especially close eye on the weather, not only today, but for the next week or so, right, Mike?
Yes, indeed. We have a series of fronts that are going to be moving through here. The first one that we've been talking about so much, it comes through later on today, and boy, is it going to be windy. But first of all, we are dealing with that rain out there. As you can see, it is wet over there by 410 at the airport. Some of the cars are kicking up a little bit of a rooster tail. Here's what it looks like on radar. There's not a heck of a lot out there. And also notice how a few more of these, I call them cells right now, or spots of some heavier rain are developing further off to the east. This is where the majority of the rain is going to be, and anything potentially strong or severe. Now, we've got a couple of decent spots up here in the northern portion of Bexar County. Everything sliding off to the east. A couple of good downpours. Again, the majority of it, and some of it too light to be picked up on radar, but the majority of it is further up to the north and working its way to the east. Now, as far as the next couple of hours, we will continue to see those showers, and even a few lightning strikes are going to be possible as well. But again, further off to the north and to the east. Temperatures mid upper 50s, low 60s around here. We're not getting any readings from the airport as well as Stinson today, nor at New Braunfels. We've got a decent breeze right now out of the southeast, pumping in all this humidity. Even a couple of gusts up to 24 out there in Los Maples. It's been gusting as high as 35 earlier this morning. Mountain Cedars on the high side from yesterday's reading. It is going to be, the updated count today comes out in a couple of hours. It's going to be interesting to see what those numbers are tomorrow as well as Wednesday, with these strong winds that are going to be picking up later on today and tonight. Wind advisory is going to affect at noon up until noon tomorrow for the entire area, and red flag warnings throughout the afternoon and evening for our southwestern half of the area. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if this even gets extended into tomorrow. So here's what it looks like. Showers, couple of storms today, mild and breezy this morning. Then we get the big front moving through midday. We hit 70 mid-afternoon. Then temperatures will begin to drop down. Very windy. Gusts are going to be 45, 50 miles per hour in the overnight hours. And tomorrow, it's going to be cold and windy, so wind chills, you're going to want to definitely bundle up tomorrow morning. Sunny, breezy, 60. We hit freezing Wednesday morning. We warm up on Thursday. Another front comes through on Friday, and then even another front after that with some even colder air. We'll talk all about that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority. I've been seeing a lot of flashing lights out there, RJ.
Yeah, Mike, things starting to get messy out there on your Monday morning. Give you an update here. US 90 eastbound at Loop 410. We have what we believe is a car that spun out there. 90 eastbound to Loop 410 north, that intersection right there. Let me show you another view of this shot here. So this is traffic that's going up on that 410 north exit. You can see that we have a pretty significant delay right there. That's the camera there, 90 eastbound at Medio Creek. So take a look at our maps here. You see that traffic is now backed up all the way up to 1604. So something to keep in mind. The other thing that we're following right now, major incident, is in the north side of San Antonio, the close north side. This is northbound 281 at Hildebrand Road, and we have a pretty significant crash here, blocking at least two main lanes. You see traffic backed up to St. Mary's and Mulberry, and we do have a TransGuide shot of this as well. This is the camera there, 281 at Olmos. You can see it's definitely kind of messy out there, of course, with the weather conditions. So this camera is a little bit further north, and we're looking at our traffic coming northbound. We are getting a little bit of traffic moving through the area, but again, a couple of main lanes blocked there, 281 north at Hildebrand. Definitely something to keep in mind if you're headed north of the downtown San Antonio area. We'll continue to follow the very latest, give you updates as they become available to us. Mark and Stephanie, back to you guys.
Thank you, RJ. New this morning, the search is on for the suspect who attacked a man overnight. Happened just before 2 a.m. on Arbor Ridge near Callahan Road. Police tell us two men got into an argument when one of them stabbed the other in the stomach. We're told that suspect ran off. Victim was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay.
Also overnight, we have learned an arrest has finally been made months after a deadly crash. So this is 56-year-old Fernando Castro Alvarez. He is now facing charges for the crash that happened back in October. Now, this is video from when it happened. We are told a man was crossing Bandera Road near North General McMullen when he was hit and killed. According to an arrest affidavit, the suspect was seen on surveillance video hitting the victim and then driving off. Officers were able to track him down based on that footage, and he is charged with collision causing death.
This morning, the family of a murdered 6-year-old continues to honor her life and memory.
A vigil was held last night for Hosanna Sancho on the city's west side, and this comes as the little girl's mother faces a charge of capital murder of a child under 10.
Our Avery Everett spoke to her loved ones about how they're trying to keep her memory alive.
Hosanna was a little girl with the greatest smile.
A short life that will leave lasting impacts.
She just loved to give everybody hugs, wanted to know everybody's name, wanted to know all about you.
In only 6 years, family and friends say Hosanna Sancho touched the hearts of so many. And now, in the days after her death, the Sancho family is holding on to every moment and memory that they can.
Today is a horrible day in our family's life.
I apologize for her because I was always...
We're hurting, we're in pain. We're very confused as to a lot of the events that happened.
On Wednesday, San Antonio police found Hosanna dead at an apartment complex on the southwest side. Police arrested her mother, Nefertira Sancho, at the scene. And now she faces a charge for capital murder of a child under 10. The Sancho family says Nefertira struggles with her mental health.
Every night I hold my daughters a little tighter. And think of her.
But Hosanna's death has left this family devastated.
I appreciate everybody's prayers because I need them. We all need them. We all need them. You don't know how much we need them. The struggle is real.
In a vigil to honor her on Sunday, this family was left in tears.
She was my baby. She was my everything.
But they're holding on to each other to get through this heartbreak.
It's just heartwarming and a joy to see the park filled.
Court records that we've seen show Nefertira Sancho had a previous conviction back in 2010 for injury to a child. She then went to a state hospital after that. In February of last year, she had a medical examination for her mental health. A physician said that she had met the criteria for outpatient treatment. Now, a year later, we know in this case involving Hosanna that it's currently awaiting indictment. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
And the time now is 6:39 and 63 degrees for now.
Just ahead, Texans and Cowboys fans have something to celebrate this morning. We'll look at the playoff matchups for this weekend in just moments.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
Cowboys fans waking up to a division championship this morning after last night's win against the Washington Commanders in Landover, Maryland. Let's get to the highlights. Second quarter, Commanders take advantage of the Cowboys' blocked field goal attempt. Sam Howell hits Brian Robinson for the 1-yard score. Tied at 7, Cowboys turn. Dak throws to Gallup. The ball gets tipped. It gets picked up by Jartavius Martin. Commanders turn that into a field goal, and Washington is up 10-7. The Cowboys respond with a 1-yard touchdown run from Tony Pollard coming up right here. Cowboys retake the lead 14-10. Under 2 minutes to play, Washington looking to get back on top of the pass is picked off by Donovan Wilson. That turns it into this. Dak to CD, reaching to complete the 4-yard touchdown. Cowboys up 21-10 at halftime and cruise from there. And here's your final score. Dak threw 2 of his 4 touchdown passes to land with a 38-10 victory. Dallas 12-5. Champions of the NFC East, and after the game, Dak was happy with the way the teams bounced back to win 2 straight to end the regular season. So the NFL wild card round is here. Here's the NFC. Let's take a look at that. Mike McCarthy will face his former team. The 7th seed Packers will be at the 2 seed Cowboys Sunday for a 3:30 kickoff. Matthew Stafford set to make a dramatic return to Detroit as the 6 seed Rams visit the 3 seed Lions Sunday at 7. And the 5 seed Eagles play at 4 seed Tampa Bay Monday at 7 right here on KSAT. Top seed Niners have a first round bye. Over in Houston, a huge turnaround for the Texans organization. Saturday night against the Colts, it was a win, and you're in the AFC playoffs. Another close game, but Houston walked away with the 23-19 win. C.J. Stroud had 264 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, and finishes the regular season with 4,108 yards passing. That's the 3rd highest all-time for a rookie. And remember, he even missed 2 games this season. Texans going to the playoffs for the first time since 2019. Outstanding. Here's your AFC wildcard playoff schedule. 5th-seeded Browns on the road facing the 4th-seed Texans Saturday at 3:30. Dolphins, the 6th seed, will face the 3-seed Chiefs Saturday at 7. And the 2-seed Bills host the 7-seed Steelers at noon Sunday. Ravens have the first round bye. So a lot of exciting football still to be played.
Very exciting, especially for Mike over here. Time now, 6:45. Let's check back with our RJ.
Yeah, guys, things getting very busy out there on the roads right now. As we look at US 90 right there at Medio Creek, we had this crash that was reported earlier there. The US 90 eastbound. This is the exit ramp to 410 North. So you see on the far end here, you see that we do have flashing lights there as crews try and clear out that crash. So a lot of different things going on right now. I want to show you maps real quick. Show you that this crash there on US 90 eastbound at Loop 410 causing a delay all the way to 1604. Something our drivers on the west side going to need to be aware about. We do have a crash being reported here, 35 northbound at Space Center. So that one just popped up on our maps. It's something that we'll continue to monitor, but you can see it is causing pretty good backup here all the way to 410, 35, 410, always a very busy area there. Take one more look here at our wide shot of our maps. We have a crash also being reported northbound 281 at Nakoma. So something that, again, just popped up. You can see a lot of different things showing up on our maps right now as over the past 15 minutes or so, seen a few incidents here and there. But the biggest thing we're looking at right now, 90 Medio Creek eastbound at Loop 410 North. And Mike is just beaming over here with the Lions logo behind us.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even see that. Love it.
Surprise.
Thank you, Colin. I appreciate that.
No.
All the Cowboys fans are like, going, what the heck? But no, I appreciate that. We're talking about, well, not only that, but tonight, Michigan playing Jim Harbaugh, only the 2nd person to head coach a team in the college championship game and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And the other was?
Ooh, good question. I don't know that one. Wow, off the top of my head, I don't know either. I know Harbaugh was with San Francisco.
Yeah, he was with Pete Carroll with USC and then Seattle. So
that's a good one. Some good trivia there.
I'm just going to stand here. Oh, it's a little dark there, so.
Yeah.
Back into the light.
Back in the light.
Did he coach? Well, the producer just said Jimmy Johnson. Because he coached down there at Miami, but...
I thought he won a national championship with Miami.
But that was prior to all the playoffs and everything.
Yes, prior to that.
Before they had, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So, anyway.
Old voting.
Thank you, Con. You
made his day.
It made my day with the Lions logo back there and the Octomon. So, all right, it is wet out there. And again, we're watching, a decent amount of rain when you see those rooster tails getting kicked up there on 410 over there by the airport. And this is what's showing up on radar. Again, take note how some of these cells are developing. Don't be surprised if you see some lightning strikes over here east of Gonzales, further off to the east. This is where the majority of any thunderstorms are going to be. Now, that doesn't mean we won't see a couple of lightning strikes or hear a couple of claps of thunder. And we've got some of these cells that are developing. And just to the west of San Marcos, just to the west of New Braunfels, a couple of good downpours here and there, moving through Timberwood Park, almost right around Hollywood Park there at 1604 and 281, right along 1604, basically is where some of this decent rain is falling as of right now. And again, everything's sliding off to the east. A lightning strike or two is going to be possible to develop as the morning rolls on in some of those cells. But again, the majority of everything is going to be further off to the east. So here's what the computer model looks like. And I think it's doing a pretty good job of telling the whole story here that the majority of the rain is to the east. Showers, even a couple of thunderstorms off there, and then the rain will continue to taper off here. And notice, if you can see that way at the top of your screen up there, those bigger cells, that's where over toward to the north of College Station over by Houston is where some of the potentially stronger storms are going to be. We continue to clear out into the early afternoon hours. This is where the front is coming on through here in the early afternoon. Here's what it looks like as far as temperatures. We're in the mid-upper 50s right now, low 60s. Not going to move that much this morning. We have those showers around here, even a thunderstorm or two. 67 degrees at noon. And then we are going to hit our high temperature today at 3 o'clock. Then the front moves on through here. Wind shift around to the northwest. Very, very blustery. Temperatures will drop down a good 10 degrees by dinner time and then continue to drop down overnight. Wind gusts this afternoon are still going to be in the 30, 40, close to 50 mile per hour range. That is going to be the situation all the way overnight into tomorrow morning. Wind chills are definitely going to be a factor then tomorrow morning. The wind will tend to ease up somewhat by the afternoon, but it's still going to be a breezy day tomorrow. So even though we hit 60 tomorrow, it's going to be a chilly 60 degrees, but we'll have plenty of sunshine tomorrow, and we will have more sunshine later on today as well. All right, check out some of those temperatures up to the north. 1 at Cut Bank, 0 International Falls. So this is the cold air that's pushing down in our direction. And there's even colder air up here in northern Canada. And this wants to then continue to work its way, try and push down to the south. And it looks like we may, obviously not that cold, but some of that's going to be continuing to push down into the United States by this time next week. 70 today. That's going to be right around early mid-afternoon. And then temperatures drop down with a front moving on through here. Very windy. Wind advisories, red flag warnings go into effect later on today. 37 tomorrow, a cold, windy 37. Freezing Wednesday morning. We warm up on Thursday. Another front comes through Friday. I think we drop down throughout the day with temperatures Friday. Chilly, good-looking weekend. And then another front comes through next Monday with some even colder air.
So warning, right now 63 degrees, not bad, but once the kiddos get out of school, that's when you'll get that
then
jacket.
Temperature, it's going to get windy later on this afternoon, but boy, bundle up the rest of the week. Excuse me for turning my back. I just want to savor this for a second.
Savor it.
Thank you, Mike. 6:51, 63 degrees.
Let's look out there with a live cam. Not too bad as far as being cold. You know, really don't need a heavy jacket this morning. But again, be prepared for all those changes we're going to see this week.
Welcome back, 6:55, and taking you outside TransGuide. We got some good news here for our drivers on the west side, US 90 at Meadow Creek, 90 eastbound to the Loop 410 north exit. That has been cleared out, so we are all clear to go. Good to go for our drivers there in that area. But you can see right now we got a bit of a situation here on the northeast side. Hearing reports of a crash at 35 Benzingelman. I'll check on that during our 7 o'clock hour. And we also had a report of a crash over there at 35 southbound at Space Center. So again, it's been a very busy morning, and the northeast side looks like kind of getting a little bit of a fill right now. So we'll continue to follow this and give you more updates as we get into our 7 o'clock hour. Mike?
Definitely a wet commute this morning. You can see we do have showers. Not any thunderstorms as of yet, but a few decent downpours there on the north side of town over around 1604 and 281. Everything is sliding off to the east. Don't be surprised if there is a lightning strike or two. The majority of anything strong to potentially severe is going to be well off to the northeast of us. We hit our high temperature early afternoon today. Then that front moves through. Very, very windy today and much colder in the next couple of days. Thank you to the folks in the booth.
It's Mike Day on GMSA.
That's what the M's for?
M for Mike.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Have a good day, guys.